guys, it's me, Crystal. So if you didn't see my last video, I did the Do I Have That Book challenge. And so this time I'm going to do the Do I Have That Other Book challenge. And basically how it works is I have a series of prompts and I'm going to time myself and see how long it takes me to find the books that correlate to the prompts, if I even have a book that correlates to the prompts. And then I will stop the timer, say how long it took me, and then talk about the books. So I will have the original Tag Creators video below, and then I will also have the link to my Do I Have That Book challenge video also in the description below. And so I will get the timer started and we're going to have some fun. Okay, so last time for 20 questions, it took me 10 minutes and 7 seconds. Would have taken me longer, but I already knew I didn't have a book that fit one of the prompts, so I didn't try, so it probably would have taken me longer. But I don't think that was too bad. I have a feeling this one's going to be worse though, because it's been a couple weeks since I watched it. But yeah, anyway. Okay, timer started. So the first question is, do I have a book with a fox on the cover or part of the plot? So, I have The Language of Thorns by Leigh Bordugo. There is a story in here called The Clever Fox with a Very Clever Fox. And there's also a little drawing of a fox on the cover. Question 2. Do I have a book that was published the year you were born or within a 3-year radius? Okay, hold on. This book was published in 1987. The Night of the Solstice by L.J. Smith. And that is within exactly 3 years of when I was born, so. Okay, do I have a book with music as a weapon or magic? Oh boy. Music. Wait. I have Hocus Pocus. And they definitely, I haven't read this book, but I'm pretty sure this is just a novelization of the movie. And in the movie, the Sanderson sisters sing a song and it like puts people into a trance. So I think this counts. Okay. Question 4. Do you have a series with mismatched covers? So I think there are a couple different ways you can interpret this question. I don't think I have books that had like a cover change, but I do have this, and this is an ARC, and this is a hardcover. I mean, they don't match. Like, one's paperback and one's hardcover. Like, does that count? I think this counts. Okay, question 5. Do you have a book with a shapeshifter? Of course, of course. You guys, this book is so old. Blood and Chocolate by Net Curse Claws. Werewolves. Question 6. Do you have a book signed by the author? Yes. And I'm going to go with Stain by A.G. Howard. Signed. I mean, it's a signed book plate, but it's signed. Question 7. Do I have a book with a mostly red cover? Yes. And I'm going to go with Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. I just got this book. Okay. And it's also a book too. Anyway. Question 8. Do you have a book between 287 and 306? Between 287 pages and 306 pages. Yes. Okay. No! Wait, what was it? 287. Yes. 287 and 306. This book is $2.99. Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. That took way too long. Okay. Question 9. Do you have a book with a main character who wears glasses? Oh no. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna kind of take an easy way out. Dining Days Volume 3. John Allison. She is one of the main characters, so there's 3 main characters, and she's one of them, and she wears glasses. So, okay, question 10. Do I have a book with a title that has the same number of letters as your first name? Okay, Crystal, 7. Okay. I'm going to go with Eclipse by Stephanie Meyer. Do I have a book with cybercrime / technology as a plot point? I don't know if this counts. I have Inferno by Dan Brown, and this book, it says that he has that he's in possession of a series of disturbing codes created by brilliant scientists. So, yes. Question 12. Do you have a book written in another language or translated to English? Yes. Okay. Have the Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. And this was originally written in French and it's been translated, so yes. Question 13. Do you have a book written by an Asian author? So the manga would be too easy. Let me see. Yes. I also recently got this book. If I Had Your Face by Frances Cha. And she's Asian. Okay. Question 14. Do I have a book with a moon on the cover? Of course I do. Of course I have to find this book. This counts as a moon, right? The Wicked Deep, Shea Unsha. Okay, this is taking so long, you have no idea. Question 15. Do you have an illustrated children's book? Yes. Okay, these books are in another room, but The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. I mean, this is right. Picture book, illustrated kids book. Yes, okay. Okay, question 16. Do you have a collection of fairy tales or myths? Yes. So I'm going to go with this one, The Snow Queen and Other Winter Tales. Question 17. Do you have a sci-fi fantasy with an alliance between races? Does Vampire Academy count? Because technically there's an alliance between vampires and Dampiers. And technically they're different, right? I'm gonna go with this. Yes, Vampire Academy, Raquel Mead. This is taking so long. Okay, question 18. Do you have a book with a narrow front cover? Paperback with a front cover that is slightly trimmed, shorter / narrower than the rest of the book? Yes. City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert. And we have this. So while this is pretty, this is just filled with reviews and sound bites about how glorious the book is. So, question 19. Do you have a book that includes the first chapter of the sequel? Yes. What is this? First chapter of the sequel? No? No. Yes. Yes. Okay. Chasing Echoes, Jodie Perkins. And the sequel, Black Lilies. In the back. Okay. Question 20. Do I have a book with a broken spine? Yes. I'm going to go with The Witching Hour by Anne Rice. This book has been through it a little bit. But, yeah. I mean, spine is broken. I do have a book with a spine that's almost falling off. But we're trying to be careful with that book, so. Oh my gosh. Do I have a book that covers 3 or more of the above prompts? Bonus question. Boy, I am. This is going to take a while. It took me a few minutes. But I think I have a book that has 3 or more prompts. So this is Shadows, a Lux prequel by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So it has 7. So it has the same number of letters as my first name. It is signed. And I think it has an alliance between races. Someone is an alien. I haven't read this, but I think this counts. So, yay. Okay. So, much longer than the first prompt. Probably due to the fact that I did skip one of the prompts last time, which is, do you have a book that's between 500 and 510 pages? Because I I already know I don't have a book with that title, at least not without going through every single book that I own. So this took 19 minutes and 25 seconds. So let's see what books I have. Let's talk about the books. So, like I just said, Shadows by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I don't really know what this book is about, but I think there are aliens in it, and I haven't read any of the Lux books either, but I met her at a writing conference, and I was like, let me get this novella because it would be easy to read. So, then we have The Richie Hour by Anne Rice. This is one of my favorite books of all time. It is so long. Like, first of all, this print is so tiny, and this book is over 1,000 pages long. And the climax is literally on the last page. So it's about like this entity that's stalking this family of witches, and it is so trippy, and it is so dark, and it is so good. Then we have Chasing Echoes by Jodie Perkins, and this is a young adult time manipulation fantasy. And basically the story is about this girl, and she can make things fall. She's like the personification of autumn. And this guy gets a curse put on him, so he has to repeat, I think it's 10 days, it might be 2 weeks, but he has to repeat like the same length of time over and over and over again. And so she gets caught up in this time loop that the guy is in, and so once we add her powers to the time loop, like the time loop starts shrinking. And so instead of it being I forget, but like instead of it being like 2 weeks, it's like 10 days, and then it's like 1 week, and then it's like 2 days, and it's really, really thrilling. And then we have City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert, and I think this is about this older woman is talking to this younger woman about her youth, and I think she was like a showgirl in like I want to say it's like the 1920s, but I don't remember, and it's like glamorous and whatever. And then we have Vampire Academy by Raquel Mead. And this is about a girl who's half vampire going to a vampire academy, and she's half vampire, half human, and they're like destined, well, they're like supposed to protect the full-blooded vampires because full-blooded vampires don't use their powers anymore, and it's a lot of fun. I thought it was fun. And this is an anthology of fairy tales. And I think a lot of these might be Hans Christian Andersen, but it also has things from, there's like something from Charles Dickens and Louisa May Alcott, and there's like German tales in here. So it's a smorgasbord of tales, but they're all winter themed. Just old, classic, icy fairy tales. And then The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. And this is actually really cute because he becomes a butterfly at the end. He's gorgeous. It's a really good kid's book, which I like to read when I'm upset. So The Wicked Deep by Shay Unshaw. This is about this town that's cursed because like years ago, there were these 3 sisters called the Swan Sisters, and they accused them of being witches, and then they drowned them in the ocean. And so the sisters come back, I think around the solstice every year for what they call swan season, and they possess the bodies of 3 local girls and then go out and find guys and drag them to a watery grave. If I Had Your Face by Frances Cha. This is a contemporary book. I found this while I was browsing Books A Million, but I think it's about like these people who live in this apartment building, and I think it just kind of goes through their lives, and maybe they're jealous of somebody else's life, but like everybody's dealing with stuff. I think that's what the book is about, but I thought I'd get it. It's not that long, you know, maybe branch out since I read so much fantasy. And then The Phantom of the Opera. Oh my gosh. So Phantom of the Opera is my favorite musical of all time. And I also wrote the sequel, but I checked it out from the library. And it's about this guy, if you don't know. It's about this guy, and half of his face is like disfigured. And so he's like haunting this opera house. He's not dead though. And he's like trying to like control everything. And so a lot of people think that he's a specter. Some people think it's a real man. And he falls, well, I won't say he falls in love. It's kind of an obsession. He becomes obsessed with this young woman named Christine, and he like coaches her, and she goes from like being a background dancer to being like prima donna of this opera house, and it's really good. This is hard to read. I find some translated books be a little hard to read, but I really like this story. It's moving and dark. So Inferno by Dan Brown. Like I said, I don't know a lot about this book, but the main character, Robert Langdon, he like wakes up one day and he doesn't know how he got to where he is or how he got into possession of some kind of cryptic codes that were made by the scientist guy. That's all I know. And that's only because I looked through it after I picked the book off the shelf to try to figure out if it met the prompt or not. And An Eclipse by Stephanie Meyer. This is book 3 in the Twilight series. And I've read the first 2 books. I haven't read Eclipse yet. But I think this is a book where the vampires and the werewolves like form a temporary truce to like go after this crazy lady who's like making baby vampires, if I'm remembering the movie right. And in Giant Days, volume 3, like I say, every time I talk about these books, this is about a trio of college friends. It's contemporary, it's comedy, and I absolutely love it. And I love the artwork. It is so bright and it's fun, and I'm really enjoying these books. And the last book comes out this month, so. And then Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. This is about this family, and a long time ago the family was cursed so that if they ever fell in love so many years after they got married, the person that they loved would die, and there's nothing they could do about it. Like, they would hear a death rattle, and then a few days or the next day following the death rattle, their loved one would die. So in this book, it's about how the curse gets broken. And so there are these 2 sisters, and one of them, she fell in love. Her husband died. She's a single mom. And then her sister, she's like kind of wild, and they haven't seen each other in a while. And she comes to the wild sister comes to the non-wild one. And she's like, oh my gosh, can you help me? I got myself into some trouble. And that trouble leads to them being able to break the curse. So. And Amuse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. This is the sequel to Strange the Dreamer. I haven't read any of these books. I just recently picked them up because I saw these covers and I just thought they were gorgeous. And I saw a review, or like a mini review, of someone talking about how gorgeous these books are and like how beautiful the story is. And so I just wanted to read it. Also, you see my troll over there? Isn't that the cutest thing? It's so cute. So Stan by A.G. Howard. I'm pretty sure this is a Princess and the Pea kind of spin of a story, and I don't know that much about it, but this book is gorgeous. Oh my gosh. So Blood and Chocolate by Annette Kerscloss. This book was published in 1997, and yeah, it's about this girl, and there is a movie version, but the movie ending is different from the book ending. In a way, it was really frustrating because, like, when I read this book, I really wanted it to end the way the movie ended. And then the movie ends that way, and I wanted it to end the way the book ended. So either way, I'm just not happy. But anyway, it's about this girl, and she's a werewolf, and she has to choose between marrying the pack leader and like becoming, I don't know, werewolf queen or something. It's been a long time since I read this book. She has to choose between rolling the pack with this guy who's kind of a jerk but super hot, or running off with this human guy and like living a normal life. So then Grace and Fury and Queen of Ruin by Tracy Banghart. I haven't read this book yet, but I got an arc of this and I really liked it. And so it's kind of like dystopian, and women are not allowed to read, but it's about these 2 sisters, and one of them, she sneaks and learns how to read from her brother anyway. And then the older sister is hoping, because basically whoever rules the land, he like picks I think like 3 new wives or something every single year. Somebody's super greedy. And so he's now passing the mantle on to his oldest son. And so his son is picking like his first 3 wives. It might be more than that, but he's picking multiple women at one time. And so the first sister is hoping to be chosen as one of the wives. And then she's hoping that her sister can be like her handmaiden. But when they get there, the guy chooses the other sister, the one who can read. And so somebody goes through her stuff, and they find a book, and they're like, you're not allowed to have this book. You're not supposed to be able to read. So the proper pretty, they're both pretty, but like the proper, pretty prim sister gets sent to this prison island. And oh my gosh, it's so good. Okay, so I picked this book up a couple years ago. It's Hocus Pocus, and the all-new sequel. I don't know who the author is, but it's put out by Disney. So I'm pretty sure this is just a novelization of the movie, and then this is a sequel to the movie. And I do really want to read this. But if you don't know, Hocus Pocus is about these kids, and they accidentally bring the Sanderson sisters back from the dead, because when they were being hanged for being witches, they put a curse on the town if anyone lit this black flame candle, if a virgin lit the black flame candle on All Hallows Eve, Halloween night, they would come back from the dead, and they would have 24 hours to suck the lives out of some children and get to come back and terrorize everything. And then this says about the sequel that it's 25 years later, and then 2 of the main characters from Hocus Pocus, their 17-year-old daughter Poppy finds herself face to face with the Sanderson sisters in all their sinister glory. I don't know how they come back, but somehow they come back again, and Poppy and her friends try to put them back into the grave again. Sounds fun. And then Night of the Solstice by L.J. Smith. So I had to track these down and found them online where a library was selling them. And because I wanted all of L.J. Smith's books, and this one and its sequel were the only ones I didn't have. I don't really remember what this book was about. It's about these siblings. There's 3 of them, 2 girls and a boy, and they like find a portal, and it has something to do with their parents. And it's not as good as her other books, but I did think it was also good. And The Language of Thorns by Leigh Bordugo. Oh my gosh, this is so good. So it's illustrated, and so basically, as you go through the story, like more things get added, and so as you go through it, like it starts taking up more and more space. Like you see what's happening. It's so cool. Anyway, and I haven't read the Grishaverse trilogy yet, but it has like a prequel to that, and then like some short stories that can like fit in between some other books. But I don't think you have to have read those books to understand what's going on, because I wasn't confused at all. But I think they're set in that world, and like maybe involve some side characters. I have no idea. But oh my gosh, this was so good. And I was excited because I don't read a ton of high fantasy, but I wasn't lost at all when I was reading any of these stories. And so that made me really excited to read the Grishaverse trilogy, and also excited to read Six of Crows, because I feel like Leigh Bordugo is the kind of author who can write a fantasy world that I wouldn't be lost in. So we'll see when I get to them, but I'm excited. And that is all for this video. This is going to be fun to edit because it's super long. So I have a book haul coming soon in my next video. So basically all I'm waiting on is one last pre-order, and it comes in on the 27th, so it comes in tomorrow. And then I will get that book haul filmed up, and it will go up at the beginning of November. And I'm excited, but it is going to be a 2-part book haul because I kind of went a little overboard, but that's okay because it was super fun, and it's going to be super fun. So that is all for this video, and I hope you guys had fun. I had fun, and as always, let me know if you've read any of these books. Let me know if I'm in for a treat when I read these books, and let me know if you found some new books to read, and I will see you guys in my next video, and bye.